Hello everyone, and charasimim ke'erene, chesed lechem v'shalom, grace to you and peace. In this video, we are going to start a series to look at the proofs that Jesus Christ is God, the Creator. In this video, we're going to look at John 1:3, a beautifully crafted verse in the Greek that unequivocally proves that Jesus Christ is God, the Creator of all things. Let's start reading at John 1:1 to get the context. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. And now let's read John 1:3 in the Greek. Πάντα di αὐτοῦ ἐγένετο, και χωρὶς αὐτοῦ ἐγένετο οὐδὲ ἐν, γέγονεν. All things came into being by means of Him, and apart from Him, not even one thing came into being, which has come into being. Now, the first thing we need to note about this verse is that it contains two figures of speech. Figures of speech are very important in the Bible because in the ancient Greek, Hebrew, and Aramaic, they did not use bold, italics, underline, and punctuation for emphasis as we do in modern languages. Instead, they used figures of speech and other literary devices for emphasis. John 1:3 uses both positive and negative repetition to emphasize the point being made that the Word, Jesus Christ, created all things. First, we have the word єγένετο, meaning to come into being, repeated 3 times. 3 is the biblical number of completion. Thus, it is being emphasized that we have a complete statement of the doctrine of creation being made here. Second, we have negative repetition being used, and special emphasis is given to a statement if it is followed by its opposite. First, we have the positive statement of the doctrine. All things came into being by means of Him. And then we have the opposite stated in the negative, and apart from Him, not even one thing came into being, which has come into being. Thus, positively, all things came into being, i.e., were created by Jesus Christ. And negatively, no things were not created by means of Jesus Christ. Therefore, the doctrine being taught here is that every single thing that was created by means of the Word, Jesus Christ, i.e., Jesus Christ is the agent of all creative acts, bar none. This fact is also emphasized by the verb tenses being used in the Greek. In verses 1 and 2, when speaking about the Word, Jesus Christ, the imperfect tense is used. The imperfect tense denotes ongoing action in the past. However, in verse 3, when Jesus' creative acts are being described, єγένετο is used in the aorist tense twice, and the aorist tense is punctiliar, i.e., the past action begins at a point in time, and in the perfect tense once, and the perfect tense also denotes punctiliar or point-in-time action, specifically an action completed at a specific point in the past. Therefore, Jesus Christ cannot have been created, since He Himself created all things, and He is ongoing with no beginning or end, as denoted by the imperfect tense in verses 1 and 2, while creation is punctiliar, or point in time, as denoted by the aorist and perfect tenses in verse 3. Jesus expressed this concept perfectly in John 8:58 when He said, "Before Abraham was," aorist tense, punctiliar, point in time. "I am," present tense, ongoing action. Therefore, the Arian heresy is refuted by John 1, verses 1 through 3. Arius taught that God the Father and the Son did not exist together eternally. Arians taught that the pre-incarnate Jesus was a divine being created by and therefore inferior to God the Father at some point, before which the Son did not exist. So Arianism is teaching a punctiliar nature of Jesus Christ. And we can see from the use of the aorist tense in verses 1 and 2, Jesus Christ is not punctiliar. He is ongoing, no beginning and no end. Arius had a saying, there was a time when the Son was not. In other words, punctiliar. There was a time at which Jesus Christ began. Athanasius countered this by saying, those who maintain there was a time when the Son was not, rob God of his word like plunderers. And from John 1:3 we can see that Athanasius was right, and Arius, along with his modern day descendants, the Jehovah's Witnesses, was wrong. Now let's take a look at a parallel verse in the Old Testament, Genesis 1:1, which reads in the Hebrew, Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. In the beginning God, Elohim, created the heavens and the earth. Now the term et hashamayim ve'et haaretz, the heavens and the earth, is a figure of speech called a merism. A merism is a pair of contrasting words, such as near and far, used to express totality or completeness. Also a type of synecdoche using the parts of a subject to describe the whole. Thus, the heavens and the earth is a merism, meaning everything. And Genesis 1:1 is the summary statement for all creative acts of chapters 1 and 2 of Genesis, which then provide the details. Therefore, A, God created all things in Genesis 1:1. B, Jesus Christ created all things in John 1:3. Therefore, C, Jesus Christ is God who created all things. Thank you. Evcharisto. Toda rabah.